Because I have been finding that my hips and knees are starting to get a little bit tender. So lifting the hips higher so that the knees go lower than the hips is a real balm if your hips are ever a little bit sensitive or if your knees are a bit cranky. So the higher your hips, the easier it is on the hip socket and the knees. We're going to do a practice this morning that is, the theme of the week for yoga is foundation and hips. But actually what I'm going to turn it into is a ball joint and socket class. So we're going to do shoulders as well as hips. And I know that there are many of us in this group who've got shoulder injuries or have suffered shoulder injuries in the past. Perhaps they're better now, let's hope they are. And I have too, I've had frozen shoulder myself. So it's really beneficial to do a practice every now and again where you just take your awareness into the shoulder socket and really start to appreciate what goes on with your shoulder blades and what goes on across the collar and chest, because it's such a magnificent structure. So let's start with hands on knees, sitting up nice and tall, eyelids down, breathing in and out through the nose. If you have got that extra bit of cushion going on underneath you, you might notice how much more steady, how much more effortless it is to get your spine to be tall. Dropping right ear down to right shoulder, slowly taking chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder, and then coming up and over. Nice, slow and steady circles. And then changing direction. It's interesting how different these circles can feel in the morning compared to the evening. We did our circles last night for the Yoga Nidra. And after a day of moving around, being dynamic and active, circles feel like nothing at all. But first thing in the morning, I can feel all the way down my spine as I circle. And that would be true for you too. Okay, coming up to center, circling shoulders up towards ears as you inhale, down and round as you exhale. A little bit of shoulder love before we go into detail with them. How are they feeling today? And then taking the elbows and circling. A good moment to notice how much movement you've got. The mobility of your shoulder socket is unparalleled. There's nowhere else in your body that has that much movement. And then taking your arms up overhead, fold elbows, take a little side stretch in either direction, lifting one elbow and then the other. Giving your side body an opportunity to lengthen. And then coming down with your hands onto your knees and circling your heart. That's the only thing that's a little bit trickier when your hips are higher than your knees. You're not quite so stable for heart circling. You can just come forwards and back if that feels better, moving the heart on that forward and backward plane. And doing whatever wriggle is needed for your spine to loosen up. Coming to sitting. So the hip socket, you have a ball, you have this sort of curvy shape that the ball sits in, and it sits deep within the hip, which is why the movement is, we've got a lot of movement, but it's not quite as vast as the shoulder. The way that the shoulder socket is you've got the ball and then you've got a very slight curve, like a crescent moon. And the ball just sort of rests against it. Excuse me. And so you've got this ball that just rests against this sort of crescent moon shape, and it's held in by ligaments and muscles much more. So there's so much more movement here. It's not held fast. And that's what enables you to get this huge range of movement. But in order for all to be healthy, of course, it needs to be strong. And the muscles and the ligaments need to know how to hold it in place. You also have the biggest veins and arteries of your entire body come up through your necks. They travel up through this very tiny area of the collarbone. And you've got the vagus nerve, which is the most, it's a thick nerve that travels through the neck as well. So there's masses of action happening. You don't want it to be congested, you want to give it space. So that's what we're going to work on today. Oh, so sneezy, sorry. I'm going to blow my nose so I'm not sniffing through the class. It's the arrival of the pollen, isn't it? Which I'm very grateful for, because it's time. Okay, so taking your hands out in front of you, palms face one another. Imagine you've got a block. If you actually happen to own a block, you are welcome to use that. And just squeeze your hands towards one another. Imaginary block in place. And feel how that possibly immediately connects in with Mula Bandha. And you're going to keep squeezing the imaginary block as you take your arms forwards in front of you. So they're parallel or they're level with the shoulders. And then holding the imaginary block, you're going to move that block forwards and then in towards you. So you get a sense of the movement available to you in the shoulder here. You're still squeezing the imaginary block, so there's nothing sort of loose or floppy about your arms. They're very strong, but we're kind of flossing the shoulder joints. Noticing how that's starting to feel. Actually starts to build quite a bit of heat when you repeat this for a while. Good morning, shoulders. And perhaps you can notice what's going on with your shoulder blades here. You want to tuck them in towards the ribs, so they have a strong sense of their own foundation. Okay, and then pause for a bit, keep holding the imaginary block, keep squeezing the palms towards one another, and you're going to slowly take your arms up, slow movements. Taking them up in front of you. And notice how you cannot go as far as you usually do when you take your arms overhead. And then bending the elbows out to the side, let's interlink hands and bring the palms to the back of your head, opening your elbows wide. So what's happened now is all that strength we were working with is completely dissipated. And now these shoulders are really loose and fluid, which we want them to be able to do. We don't want to be locked into solidity all the time, but we definitely want to build our awareness around the solidity. Okay, so taking your arms back up, palms pressing towards one another, just a little bit ahead of your body. And then let's experiment with drawing the elbows out to the side, but keeping that sense of firmness, of strength in the shoulders as you come into cactus. And then from cactus, you're going to straighten the arms, keep the shoulder socket firm as you come into a little V. And as you exhale, you're going to take the elbows down to the sides as you come back into cactus. But this time, the elbows come forward, the wrists come back, so they're behind the elbow. And now notice what's going on in your shoulders. Inhale, straighten the arms, a little V, keep that strength in the shoulder girdle. And then coming back down into cactus with the elbows further forward than the wrists. I did this class a few times yesterday, and I can tell you that tomorrow you'll be feeling this. Okay, coming up into a little V. Exhale, coming down into cactus. Well done. And then taking the hands down, I'm going to bring the arms around behind your back. Imagine you're holding a massive beach ball behind you. And then bring your hands together, interlink your fingers, press the arms away. So now we find the looseness, the fluidity. And you might take a little wriggle here through the spine as you inhale and look up. Less now about strength, more about movement. Those two work on a continuum together. If you've ever seen the way a bodybuilder walks, there's seldom flexibility when you have strength. But without the strength, the flexibility can become dangerous. Without the flexibility, the strength becomes prohibitive. They work together. Okay. Bring your arms forward. We're going to bend the left elbow, take the right elbow over the top, bring the palms together. Press the elbows forward as you drop your chin towards your chest and breathe into the back of your heart. We're looking for that middle ground, somewhere where there is equal measure strength and mobility, flexibility. Okay, releasing, unravel the arms, go the other way, so now the left elbow's on top. Pressing the elbows forward, chin to chest. And then unraveling the arms. And we're going to come to lie down on our tummies. So I'll just move cushions to one side. And we're going to take a little bit of the shoulder action down into our reclining poses. So lying down on your front, making your way down, forehead to the floor. Walk your feet a little bit further away. Take your arms either side of your body. Interlink your hands behind your back and press your palms away. Let's keep the legs grounded for now. Press down into the hips. Inhale as you lift the ribcage up off the floor. Shoulders are going to rise away from the floor and hands are going to move down towards heels. And then exhale as you come down. And now bring your arms out into cactus. Elbows further forward or closer towards the earth than the wrists. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you come down. And then reach your arms either side of your ears, holding this imaginary block once again. Inhale as you come up. And exhale as you come down. Okay. Keep the arms up above your ears, unless that feels too much. Take whichever option feels good to you this morning. But if you're able to, keep the arms above your ears. Inhale as you come up. Let's lift the feet as well. As you exhale, bring the arms into cactus. And then inhale, arms come overhead. And exhale, coming into cactus. If adding the arms is too strong for your lower back, keep your arms down at your side. Let's go one more time. And then lay your hands down like a little nest. Drop your one ear down to the floor as you turn your head to the side and come into resting. Inhale as you come back to center. Reach your arms back behind you. Gently inhale as you lift your feet. Let your hands move back towards your heels. Breathing here. Lifting the shoulders away from the floor. And exhale as you come down. You're going to turn your head the other way to create that little cradle with your arms. Take a moment to rest. Okay, bringing your head to center. You're going to take your arms out in cactus, forehead to the floor. Let your right hand just nudge up a little, maybe an inch higher behind you. So you're still in cactus, but the elbow is just a little higher. You're going to bring your left hand to your side, so it's like a bicycle kickstand to your side. And then you're going to press down through the left hand as you roll over onto your right hand side. This is going to stretch through the shoulder girdle for you. And coming back down to center. Both arms out in cactus. Then taking the left arm up just a little higher. Right hand comes to your side, like a little bicycle kickstand. Pressing down through the right hand, rock yourself over onto your left hand side as you stretch through the shoulder. Deep breaths. And then slowly rocking your way back to your front. Take your hands either side of your chest. Press down through your hands as you sit back on your heels. Let's separate knees. Toes are together and lay ourselves down, forehead to the floor. And then wrapping our arms around our body. So we're coming into full child's pose. And then bringing your hands down to your side. Inhale as you come up. Let's come up onto our knees. Inhale, take hold of this block in front of you, the imaginary block, as you inhale and reach your arms up. Exhale as you take your hands down. Tuck your toes under. Keep that sense across the shoulders as you come into a bent leg version of down dog. Keep the knees bent, lift the tailbone high. And then slowly start to let the heels melt towards the floor. Inhale, lift the right foot just a little bit. You're not going to spring it up super high. We're just raising it a little bit. As you exhale, bring the foot forward, plant it between your hands, dropping the back knee. Imaginary block comes up in front of you as you inhale. As you exhale, elbows come out to the side, cactus. Wrists are behind elbows. Inhale, creating a V. Exhale, returning to cactus. Bringing your hands behind, taking hold of this beach ball. Inhale. Exhale, take hold of hands, interlink fingers, press the hands away as you look up. As you inhale, lean forwards, taking your arms up behind you. And then releasing the arms, Come all the way up and through, palms facing one another. Hands to the floor. Glide the sitting bones back. Toes pointing up towards ceiling as you take a little runner's stretch. Coming forwards as you inhale. Hands either side of that front foot as you look up. Pressing into the hands, coming into a little down dog. Keep the knees bent. Listen out for the sound of your breath. Let its cadence guide you. Inhale as the left leg rises. We're not shooting it up high. It's Thursday morning. We're going slow. We're letting ourselves actually feel the movement. Back knee comes down to the floor. Inhale, invisible block. Reaches up high in front of you. Hips lunge forwards. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, creating a V. Exhale, cactus. Arms behind, holding onto the beach ball. Interlink fingers. Press the palms away, lift the chest. And exhale as you roll forwards, arms up behind you. Inhale. Release the arms, take the arms up high in front of you. Exhale, hands to the floor. Glide the sitting bones back. Traveling forwards as you inhale, looking up. Bringing that knee back. Coming into a little down dog. Notice what's going on in the shoulders. Inhale, right leg rises. Just gentle. Exhale, bring the knee forwards, coming into pigeon. Inhale up onto your fingertips. Adjust and wriggle as much as you wish. And exhale as you come forwards. The gift of that plane of movement for your hip. Let yourself settle. Every exhale, a dissolving. Coming back up onto your hands as you inhale. Tuck the toes under of the back foot as you return to a nice down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, left knee forwards. Coming into pigeon. Inhale up onto your fingertips. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you come back up. Coming up onto your hands, sweep that back leg around. And we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Holding onto the toes, knees bouncing out to the side. Inhale as you sit up. And exhale as you roll forwards, chin towards chest, crown of head towards toes. Inhale as you come back up, bring the knees up in front of you, place the feet flat to the floor, more than hip width apart. Take your hands behind your back, so your fingers are pointing towards your sitting bones, and drop the knees to the right, looking to the left. Inhale back to center, dropping the knees to the left, gazing to the right. And then coming up to center, and we'll take tabletop. So pressing down through the hands, pressing down through the feet, lifting the hips, lifting the shoulders, lifting the heart. Perhaps your head drops back to look up at the sky or the ceiling. Exhaling as you come back down. Let's lie down on our backs. Hug knees in towards chest. Thread arms inside of knees to catch hold of feet. Happy baby. The heels are stacked above the knees. And your legs move. They're not static at all. You can almost do a little bicycle move here. It's quite nice to get into the hips. And then releasing the feet, crossing ankles, and coming back up to sitting. Taking your hands to your heart center, letting your eyelids drop. Just thanking your shoulders for all the immense mobility, strength, and healing that they're capable of. And the same to our hips. Amazing, amazing architecture for the body. The love inside of me sees the love inside of you.